Today, you're going to learn how to sell crypto, how to exit in the PulseChain ecosystem without hurting the price chart. Obviously, I don't believe in selling at this point in time. Now is not the time to be selling. Now is the time to be buying, in my opinion. But one day when you want to take profits and you don't want to wreck the chart, these three methods right here, we're going to go over them. These are different ways and it's kind of advanced. But if you want to sell, especially for higher net worth individuals, right? If you're trying to take profit of 100K or even $1 million at a time, that's going to give you a lot of slippage. It's also going to make a big red candle on the chart. You don't want that, okay? So there's a couple of tools that people have been building. Shout out to all the PulseChain builders. They've been doing a great job. One of them is called 0xbistro.io. This is called OTC, all right, over the counter. And if you go here to 0xbistro.io, you can go to the dashboard over here and you can see people are putting up orders. Basically, hey, I want to sell this many coins in exchange for this many of another coin. But they're basically off-chain order books, okay? They're off of the LPs. So you never hit the liquidity pool with this. You just find a buyer for every seller. So if you want to go to Maker over here and you want to make your own order, let's say I want to get rid of, a billion PulseX, right? $24,000 today. A billion PulseX, and I want to sell that for DAI. Now, the cool thing here is you can choose multiple tokens. So you can be asking for multiple different tokens at the same time. I'm just going to simplify things. Let's say you just want stable coins, right? Let's say you want to sell that for $24,000. Okay, this might be a good trade. Somebody might take you up on this because look, the buyer of your PulseX is paying less than $24,420, right? He's getting a little bit of a discount potentially. So the buyer could technically get under market price, while the seller also gets a good deal because if you try to dump this much on the market, maybe you would eat more than $420 in slippage, right? Not only slippage, but also trading fees as well. So this is a direct buyer to seller situation here. It's just kind of like an eBay. You could think of it like a Craigslist for people that just want to buy and sell certain coins. And the cool thing is you can add multiple tokens, right? So that's pretty interesting. They do charge a small fee. Also, you got to watch out for tax tokens here. The taxes are still going to apply. So don't be surprised about that if you have a tax token. But this is one thing to check out. Shout out to 0xbistro.io. They've got audits if you want to go read the audits. Definitely be careful with all this stuff. All right, everything comes with smart contract risk. Every new platform, guys, there's no way around it. So yes, you're taking a risk. All this stuff could blow up. It could all go to zero. All these protocols might not work, but they're audited. They're by reputable teams. They've been running for a while. Well, this one is new, but the other ones I'm going to talk about, like 9inch, for example, has been running for a while, multiple audits, and it's forked off of existing software. And that brings me to number 2. If you want to exit crypto, another way to do that without hurting the price is building a liquidity position. And the main thing that people do is V3 liquidity, single-sided liquidity. So Uniswap V3 introduced a new innovation in crypto. It's called single-sided liquidity. And 9inch has been working properly on v3.9inch.io. So you can go here, v3.9inch.io. You can go up to liquidity over here, and you can click on add liquidity. All right, add a single side liquidity. And you can go ahead and add a liquidity pool, but you can only have to put one coin on a single side. Remember how most liquidity pools, especially on PulseX, they're symmetric, meaning if you put up $5,000 of Hex on, let's say, like the Hex Pulse pair, you also have to put up $5,000 of PLS on the other side. With V3, the innovation here is that you can do range-bound liquidity. You can say, I only want to sell this token when the price goes into a certain range. And here's a quick tutorial, right? If you want to just sell the token after the price goes above a certain range, or let's say after the price goes above the current price, you just have to toggle these things around, okay? Toggle this range around over here where my mouse is until you get single-sided. So if I move this bar all the way to... See this dotted line here? This is the market price, okay? The dotted line is what the price currently is. And if we move this bar over here, I'm sorry, let's do that the opposite way. If we move the red side past the dotted line, past the current market price, you could see, look at the deposits down here. Notice how one of those coins went away. So I'm on the PLS USDT pair. You could do this for any pair between any coin. It doesn't matter. Okay, so again, if we have the line over here, right, we have the bottom range bound over here. You're going to have to put up both sides of liquidity, right? Like if I do my maximum amount, I put up about 200K of Pulse and $2 of USDT. If I drag the USDT side farther down, I have to put up more USDT. But if I drag the USDT side up to the market price, eventually it will just go away. And that's how you'll know that you're doing single-sided liquidity when, let's just toggle this up, right? Click on the plus button right here. We'll just get this as close as we can to the 0 mark, and here we go. So when this gets to the market price, when it goes to the other side of the current market price, you're only putting up one side of liquidity, which means that from the price of 0.00004 to the maximum price of 0.0008, that's a 2x, right? That's a 2x. But from the current price of Pulse until PulseChain doubles, you're going to be selling all your Pulse for USDT. So you could do this over a much larger range, right? It doesn't have to be 2x. Or you could wait, right? You could wait until maybe you don't want to sell Pulse right now. But if you want to bring this up to, let's say, 67, this current liquidity range is basically saying, I only want to sell Pulse when the price is above 67 and below 8. Okay. Now, I think these ranges are way too low. Okay. It's only an example. I wouldn't be wanting to sell until many, many X's higher than this. But this just goes to show you, right? And now if the price blasts way past, 4 zeros and an 8, when it goes past this, you actually have to go and manually remove your liquidity position. So it's an active thing. You have to pay attention to it, because if the price goes up and if it goes past your range, all this PLS is going to turn into USDT. All right. But if the price goes back down again, then you're going to be back within the range. So you need to make sure that once it goes past your range, you need to remove the liquidity position. So this is single-sided LP. And of course, you can always pick different fee tiers up here. A lot of times on meme coins, like illiquid coins, you'll find 1%, even 2%. I mean, it's incredibly high. 2% is like almost a tax token at that point. But a lot of low liquidity, low volume pairs do 1% because in order to make up for the lack of volume, LPs need to be incentivized with more trading fees. Okay. But the default for a lot of more highly liquid coins on PulseChain on 9-inch is the default is 0.25%. So look, we could also just go to the full range. The full range is going to require me to put up both coins though. We can go to 50% of the full range, 10% of the full range, 20%. We could do whatever we want here. The range that you're setting is basically the area in which you are selling one coin for another coin. Okay, so this is V3 liquidity. If you don't understand this, just look up Uniswap V3 liquidity. All right, there's a lot of documentation out there. Read about it before you do any of this. You got to make sure you understand what you're doing so that you're not surprised or that you're not taken off guard by anything. So if what I said didn't make sense to you, just Google Uniswap V3 liquidity. All right, concentrated liquidity, Uniswap documentation. Take a couple minutes, watch these videos, okay, and just read everything about it. But I'm trying to get through these quickly. Okay, I'm trying not to waste time here. Basically, the thing is, you want to make sure if you're doing single-sided, first you pick your pair. Okay, so I want to sell PLS for USDT, theoretically. And then you want to make sure that you tick the price up past the market price until the buy side goes away and you're only left with the sell side, which is PLS, assuming, and you're going to be selling this for USDT as it goes into your range. And we could drag this way high up as well. We could say, I don't want to sell Pulse until it hits 1 penny. I don't want to be done selling Pulse until it hits 1 penny. So now we're selling on the entire range from current price all the way up till 1 penny. It's a long way to go till then, but that's what this liquidity position would currently be doing. Then, of course, you just click add, you confirm it, and it'll pop your MetaMask open. And you just confirm this like any other transaction, guys. Now, finally, a way to sell tokens without hurting the price. This is also very risky, so make sure you understand these protocols. Don't just dive into them without understanding, but you can default on a loan. You could take out a DeFi loan where there's no middleman, right? There's just smart contracts. You could do this with PLS, with PulseX, or with Hex. So we've got protocols for all the big blue chips over on PulseChain, okay? Liquid loans was the original, so you could sell PLS for USDL. You could sell PulseX for PXDC, or you could sell Hex for the stablecoin HexDC. So let's go to liquid loans, okay? This is the liquid loans dashboard. What you would do is you would essentially, you would take out a loan, right? And you would take out a loan on however much Pulse you want to. Let's say I've got 100,000 Pulse. Well, actually, you need a minimum of $2,000 here, which is probably a good thing, right? You need at least $2,000 of a loan. And now you would never want to normally do this, okay? This is a very unique situation where if you're trying to exit, you want to take out a loan and borrow USDL, okay? USDL is a stable coin over here on this protocol. You'd be borrowing the USDL, putting up your Pulse as collateral for that. Basically, you're creating such a lowly collateralized loan. 110% is the minimum collateral for all these protocols, okay? A 110% collateral loan means that if the price goes 10% down, you get liquidated. But with these protocols, when you get liquidated, your Pulse goes away, but you keep the stable coins, right? So let's say you're trying to sell $1 million. Well, maybe you can't dump $1 million on the market without hurting the price or moving the price by 10% in slippage, okay? So maybe you just want to take the 10% cut, and there's also potentially benefits. I'm not a tax advisor, okay, but potentially there might be benefits to taking out a loan rather than doing a formal sale of any token. Now go get your professional advice about that from somebody else, not me. All right, but let's say you want to sell like 1 billion Pulse, all right? Right now, $29,000 for a 150% collateralized loan. That means I have 1.5 times more money on my loan than I have borrowed. But let's say I want to increase this to maybe 33,000. Let's go to 36,000, 39,000. Look at how close I'm getting here. My collateral ratio is what you have to pay attention to. It's at 114.69. Now this is very low, which is why it's red, because it's dangerous. Okay, you should not be doing this. You want to over collateralize to be safer. Like 400%, 500%, really just be over collateralized. But if you want to dump all your coins or just take some profit and extract some kind of USD value out later on, you could get this as close as possible to the minimum collateral ratio. Again, that is 110%. And here we're getting pretty close. Okay, 112%. That would mean that if the price moves against you 12%, your 1 billion Pulse gets liquidated, goes to all the people in the stability pool buying your Pulse back for you from at a 12% discount, basically. But you're still left with $38,900. Okay, and maybe that's better for you. And if the price keeps going up, then lucky you can just keep borrowing on the way up. So if you don't time the top perfectly and you get lucky and somehow the price keeps going up to and your collateral ratio gets safer again, then you could just keep borrowing more and more, but keep that collateral ratio minimum. Now, this is not the conventional way to be using liquid loans or any of these protocols, okay? This is an advanced strategy. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, go in the Telegram groups and ask your questions there. I'm not on these teams. I don't work for any of these teams. I'm just telling you protocols available for you to use because it helps you potentially save money and slippage, get more money out if you want to sell one day. It also helps everybody else to not have to deal with a giant red candle. And also people aren't mad at you, right? With pitchforks and stuff but read the documentation. Like a lot of people just don't read the documentation and then they get surprised when something happens. Like, oh, I got liquidated, but they don't understand that the system is just behaving how it's supposed to behave. But if you just don't understand how the system works, you can't get mad when the system does what it's supposed to do just because you don't get it. So ask questions. The teams are responsive in here. Okay. The Liquid Loans team, the 9-inch team, Bistro, whatever it is. But that is the minimum collateral strategy. And you can also do this exact same protocol. Basically, this same protocol was built for PulseX on Earn. And it was also built for Hex on the Flex protocol. And I've got all the URLs here, okay? First one was Liquid Loans. Now we've got earn.powercity.io. And we've also got flex.powercity.io. So if you want to log into these, you can see how they're literally just clones of each other, right? This is Power City. So it's a different group of people building these two, but they're basically the exact same protocol. They're a fork of the liquidity protocol, which has been running fine on Ethereum for many, many years, even after a crazy 85% drop in Ethereum. This protocol has been safe and it's been around for a while. It's a collateral-backed, decentralized stablecoin. So these are all three native stablecoins, just backed by different assets. You know what I mean? So this one is backed by PulseX. This stablecoin is backed by Hex. This stablecoin USDL. This is backed by PLS. So you would just connect your MetaMask here, okay? And these all do the same thing. I actually think that the UI on these are like a little bit simpler, okay? But the first thing you would do, let's say you want to take out a loan on your PulseX. You just have to approve a new vault. You know, I'm a first-time user, so just go ahead and approve the transaction. All right, after that's approved, then you go to open a vault, and you're going to have another minimum, right? So it's like a $2,000 minimum, I believe. But you'll see right here, let's say I want to put up 30 million PulseX, right? $700. Well, I could take out a $500 worth of PXDC, or I can get this even lower. So remember, you want to get that collateral ratio close to 110 if you're going to do this risky strategy. So let's go to 22, 23. Okay, close enough, right? 22.5, 22.6. Okay, that's basically, this is as close as I can get. It is 22,600,000 PulseX. I could take out a $450 loan on that. Now, yes, it recommends keeping above over 150% collateral ratio. CR stands for collateral ratio. Yeah, normal people would want to be a lot safer, okay? But if you're trying to exit and sell, this is basically what you do. And now all these protocols, they've got a secondary token. Like this one's got Earn token. You got Flex token over here. You got the Loan token over here. The Loan token, all these secondary tokens on these protocols, these are for the stability pool, right? So if you stake your USDL, a lot of people just recycle. Like they'll take out a loan. They'll stake it here to earn, look, you can earn like 19% APR. That's pretty good on a stable coin, right? That's pretty high, actually. You could earn the loan token as a reward, and you could also stake your loan token, and you could earn people's redemption fees, you know, when they get redeemed against, or in the stability pool, what you're also doing is you're providing stability, right? So when somebody defaults on your loan, you're also committing that that USDL is going to be used to buying those defaulted on loans. But you're buying those defaulted loans at a cheaper rate, right? You're buying them at like 10% off market price because somebody went below the minimum collateral threshold. These guys are basically taking the other side of the trade. They're taking the other side and saying, instead of taking out a loan, I want to buy people that defaulted on their loan. I want to buy people out at a discount. So that's why you've got the loan token, the earn token, the flex token. They're reward tokens that basically just try to ensure that everybody, both sides in the decentralized system, both sides are keeping each other in check, essentially. So that is what you would do, right? How to exit without hurting the price. This might not matter right now, but I'm sending this out to the future, right? 2025, maybe 2026, whenever you want, whenever you're watching this. Don't dump the price chart, especially big whales out there. If you got $1 million or more, don't dump it down. I mean, you lose, we all lose. You know, you eat slippage, you get a worse deal, and then you piss everybody else off. So why not just use, you know, OTC, liquidity positions, V3, or defaulting? And there's something else I didn't mention, right? Another thing you could do, if you want to do good old-fashioned symmetric liquidity, you can just go to PulseX, app.pulsex.com, click on the IPFS link, and you could just set up a liquidity pool on stablecoins paired with PLS, right? Now, this requires you to have a lot of stablecoins already, right? So let's say you've got $500,000 of Pulse. Well, if you want to pair that with $500,000 of stablecoins, you could enter one of these pools, the stablecoin Pulse pools, USDC Pulse, DAI Pulse, or USDT Pulse, any one of them. And then as the market goes up, assuming that you timed it correctly, this is essentially like scaling out. So if you join this pool, let's say you put 100K in this pool, 50K on each side, Pulse goes up, you're left with way more DAI, you have way less Pulse because everybody bought Pulse from you because you took the other side of the trade. That's what you're doing with LPing, right? But you also got paid INC the whole time. So you got paid 50% APR. So that might be a win-win for you guys, especially if you're a bigger holder with stable coins, if you want to do symmetric liquidity. But a lot of people might prefer this V3 liquidity over on 9inch.io because this lets you do single-sided, and you can do anything over here. You can pair any coin with any coin. So, you know, you could sell a meme coin for another meme coin if you want to. But when people sell, guys, typically they either exit for the L1 token or like a blue chip token, or they exit for stable coins, right? When bear market comes around next time, right? Typically people just want to sell for stable coins, really. Or they want to hide out in something more established than like a risky meme coin. They want to just hide out in, let's say, Pulse for a longer term. So single-sided liquidity, DeFi lending on liquid loans, flex, or earn. And of course, over the counter with stuff like Bistro. Hope you guys feel a little bit smarter. Hope you guys feel a little more educated. These are just things you can do, right? Just because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it. You might not ever need these things, but they're available to you. And if you have a big whale friend and you don't want him to hurt the chart, send him this video. Send him this video. Make sure people know that these are options available to them whenever the time comes. Again, that time is not now. Be greedy when others are fearful, guys. Now is the time to DCA. Now is the time to be buying. I'm not selling crypto right now. I'm buying way more because I'm really excited about the future. So we'll see what happens, guys. We'll see what happens. Make sure you like, subscribe, share the video, leave a comment if you found this content valuable. Share it with people. And seriously, just like and subscribe. It takes you like 2 seconds and it helps pump all of our bags. It helps this whole thing go viral. And if you're brand new to crypto, if you know nothing about crypto, if this is way too advanced, I have a beginner to intermediate course called hexpassiveincome.com. Link in description below. It's like everything I've ever learned in crypto. 25 hours of content. Great deal. Limited time offer. Hexpassiveincome.com. You know, get it early so that you're not late to the party if you're brand new to crypto. See you guys on the next video.